Look, I had a bad week too. Dolphins, Bills. I wasn't happy about that game at all.
Yeah, so we were gonna say we were gonna do Steamers of the week. That's got to be Steamer number 1. That was a near 30 point. I was gonna say blowout. It wasn't really a blowout because the Dolphins still scored a fair bit.
Yeah.
But it was a blowout because the Bills scored 30 more points. So number 1 Steamer of the week is Buffalo on the Miami Dolphins. And at this point,
how do we feel about the Bills?
I think they slide past the Dolphins in the power rankings.
I still don't.
Because they have the same record now. Although they have, obviously the Dolphins have their 70-20 win, but the Bills have been blowing out teams. Like they did it last week, the last couple weeks. And they now have beaten the Dolphins. Like in their head-to-head matchup, they've won. And obviously there's one more divisional game later this season. But that's huge for the tiebreaker. Because these teams are very, very likely to end up with relatively the same record. Probably going to both end with 12 wins or so. This season, 11, 12 wins. And so having that tiebreaker is extremely important. So if the Bills go win the next divisional game, the Dolphins got to just play for a wild card spot probably. Unless they have to really just hope the Bills lose a lot of games and they win a lot of games, which, at this point, they're both going to lose a couple more games this season because that's just the nature of the NFL. But I think at this point, the Bills probably slide past the Dolphins for me in my power rankings. I don't think necessarily it's going to end that way in the season. I think the Dolphins just had a bad game. We saw last season in the playoffs. Like, the Dolphins can pull it out anytime.
And in the snow.
But we'll have to see. I'm glad they get to play each other again because that's a matchup that we might see in the playoffs depending on how the seeding aligns. But
hey, they'll be playing in Miami, and it's hot down there. We're not going to take it easy on y'all. We'll take 2 steamers on you guys. 2!
If they beat the Bills worse than the Bills just beat them, I'll allow them to reserve the number 1 and 2 spot for Steamer of the Week that week. But it's got to be that bad.
Okay, it's got to be that bad. All right.
So we'll talk about the Thursday night game, the Lions Packers.
I liked it.
It was fun to watch. I will say that was one of the more I was more intrigued by that game than most. The Lions won. Obviously, they won by a decent bit, but I still think Jordan Love looked decent. I mean, I said it all season. I think that Jordan Love's going to be one of my favorite quarterbacks this season. Even if he loses and has some bad plays, I'm still going to root for the guy because I think that what he's showing consistently is very, very good. And the Packers win with a lot of questionable players, a lot of injuries. Obviously, the Lions had some too, but making some game-time decisions to play players means they're not warming up the whole week practicing with the team. And so I'm not saying that's the reason the Packers lost, but it definitely hurts the team when it happens.
Yeah.
And
they had a lot of injuries. No David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, which is huge.
Christian Watson came back. Yeah, Aaron Jones came back from his hamstring, but not much time.
Both weren't really,
Aaron Jones got wrecked.
Yeah.
That game. Oh my goodness.
But I will say, if you took my bets that I said last week, you would have won some money. Yeah. I still netted positive this week. I don't know if I netted positive.
I did not.
I lost my first player prop bet. I was undefeated until this week. I lost one. I won the other 3 player prop bets I made this weekend, including the Thursday, Sunday, and Monday games, because I did win my bets, my Monday night field goal being over 45 yards and interception by Danny Dimes, 97-yard pick 6. We'll talk about that later. So my player props are still netting positive, so although I am now not 100%, I'm still good. So keep taking our advice. Anyway.
I've only won 1 player prop this whole season. Ugh.
Yeah, you need to just dial it back a little bit. You're just doing too many.
Yeah.
You always do what I do and then add one more thing to it.
I do. I always add one more thing, or I change one thing about it. I should have hedged the bet, by the way.
Yeah, you 100% should have with that Dolphins-Bills.
Yeah, I should have.
That was just a duplicitous bet.
I should have hedged it. I would have won. Me and Ethan Pryor were talking about hedging a bet. He's like, go with your gut. I went with the gut. I was talking about hedging it. He's like, no. You lost me money, Ethan.
Yeah.
Own up to the public.
I said don't hedge. Yeah, of course. Hedging generally is not the best idea.
That was a smart one that time.
And also, well, of course, in hindsight, obviously, it would. You know what would have been smart is if I put all of my life savings into the Rams Bengals Super Bowl being a 23-20 score, Rams winning. That would have been smart.
Yeah,
you should have not told me not to do that, Jerome. But anyway, the Lions Packers game was good. I think that obviously now the Lions are the team to beat in the NFC North, which people thought anyway. But if the Packers had beaten them, they would have obviously taken that spot. But in the NFC North now, it's obviously the Lions. The Bears and Vikings both still suck. Although the Vikings did get their win this past weekend, but
hey,
for the Vikings,
it's about time. 1-3.
1-3. The Vikings are going to finish probably with a negative record. Their offense is still one of the best in the NFL, but their defense just gives up way too many points. Their defense even against the Panthers. The Panthers, not like they had a crazy impressive game offensively, but the Vikings defense really should not have allowed anything.
No.
Especially with them being a little bit battered up.
The Vikings were down at the half.
Yeah, that was a 96-yard pick six by Kirko.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
Where Kirko gets laid out.
Yeah. But, I mean, they won. Not really much to say about this. These are both going to be probably last or second to last in their division. This doesn't really say much about either team going forward, just that we still know the Vikings offense is good, and the Panthers are still rebuilding and going to be the last in the division. So We'll move on. Not much to talk about there. One of the best games of the week. Broncos versus the Bears.
I was going to say Rams-Colts.
We'll do that one next, but we'll do Broncos Bears because I hyped it up last weekend to be the stoppable force versus the movable object, and it was. The Bears got up like 21. Or was it? Did they get 21-0 or 28-0? And then the Broncos came back and won in classic Bears fashion.
Yeah, the Bears came up 21-7
and lost.
Now
we both figured the Broncos were going to win this, and they did, but
I was actually worried.
I was too.
I was like,
but it's just like the Bears to choke that lead against the worst defense in the NFL.
Like the Bears.
And the other thing people are saying is that Justin Fields had a good game. It's like, yeah, the fucking Broncos defense is the worst the NFL's seen in decades.
Which makes no sense considering the players that they got, dude. I mean, Pat Surtain, you'd think he'd be.
It's the defensive coordinator that's
completely
stupid.
He's a bum.
Yeah, no, their players are good, but you know when you have a play caller that's calling plays and you have to do those plays, or your system is just not going to work right, then you're going to lose games, and you're going to have a bad defense, and that's exactly what we're seeing with the Broncos. But they still managed to pull off a win, so good for the Broncos. It's probably one of maybe two that they're going to get all season.
Right. Broncos are just doggy-doo at this point. They're going to sack their whole coaching staff. Sean Payton experiment, I think, is going to be over soon.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they try out the different defensive coordinator, but yeah, even that offense really ain't getting much done, but... Once again, not much to say there. They're both going to finish last in their division.
Jerry Jeudy finished 3 receptions for 52 yards.
Yep.
Against the Bears defense.
He's been a letdown since the day he steps in the league.
I don't think he's a letdown.
He's the Kyle Pitts of wide receivers.
He's had horrible quarterback plays.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's his fault. I just mean in terms of people think this time it's going to be his time to break out, and he never does.
No.
Kyle Pitts hasn't had great quarterback play either. You know,
DJ Moore did great this game.
He did. So did Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet had a great game too. And I dropped DJ Moore in one of my leagues.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did after the first 3 weeks of the Bears season when they realized Justin Fields could not get it done even with good receivers.
Moving along, Rams-Colts?
Yeah, you know, we both thought the Colts were going to win, but I thought it was going to be close because I think both of these teams are two that are going to be sneakily competitive for a wildcard spot this year. They're both playing a lot better than they should have. So the Rams winning, I don't think necessarily says a lot about the Colts being a bad team. It means the Rams are just a little bit better than maybe we thought. I think the Colts still have a chance at their division, and I think the Rams, have a spot at the wildcard spot. Obviously, I don't think they're going to beat the Niners out, but it was a close game, 29-23.
I mean, it had to go to overtime.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson first week back from an injury, so a
little bit of grace.
A little bit of grease. His passing game wasn't the best, but his rushing game was phenomenal, and they still kept it close. And so once again, him being a rookie quarterback and all, I think you got to give the benefit of the doubt where you can, and I think this is one of those games where you do that. And I think Anthony Richardson is still playing very impressively. Zach Moss is being very impressively. Michael Pittman is for the Colts, and obviously for the Rams, everyone knows Kyren Williams.
Kyren Williams done me good, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I picked up Kyren in my leagues because I'm glad they traded Cam Akers too.
You know what's crazy? I was so high on Kyren Williams last year when I heard Cam Akers was being a bum.
And then Kyren Williams didn't do a ton.
Nope.
He did a little bit like now and again, but he wasn't the guy.
No.
He didn't look like he was the guy.
He's the
now
guy.
He's the guy. Now I think it's because he had the full offseason where they were considering him as the starter, even though Cam Akers did kind of pop off at the end of last year. But yeah, I think this is a good game. This is one of the funner games of the week to watch.
Cool.
It was good. But we'll move on. We'll talk about the Browns-Baltimore game.
I called it.
I don't think there's much to say here because Deshaun Watson was injured. Actually, that reminds me. I said Browns if Deshaun was playing.
Yeah.
And he did not, so I need to update my...
Oh. He did not play?
No, it was DTR.
DTR, yeah.
And he played...
I didn't watch that game.
He played fine. He played fine. I mean, not... I don't know. It wasn't... I don't think they probably would... They probably still wouldn't have won with Deshaun Watson there, but having your starting quarterback there, 3 picks... I don't know. Nick Chubb being out, I think, was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the nucleus of that offense. But DTR...
Nah, he's not. You're not beating Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I thought about putting this in the steamer of the week, but because it was a backup quarterback, I felt like that was a gimme to the ring.
I actually had no clue that DTR was playing.
Mm-hmm. I checked after the first quarter because I wasn't watching that game. I checked the stats of the first quarter, saw the Rams or the Browns were losing. It's like, oh yeah, DTR's playing. But the Steelers won, so another AFC North.
Steelers didn't win.
I know, I was making a joke.
Oh.
The Steelers should have won.
I was going to call you.
Because they played the Texans.
CJ Stroud! What? I shouldn't do that because I crapped on him. But that was an insane game by CJ Stroud.
It was.
CJ Stroud is the lot better. Best rookie so far?
Oh, yeah.
Or AR?
Even stat-wise, he has the, I think, second quickest to 1,000 passing yards. He has 9 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns and no picks.
He's top 5.
Yeah, that is crazy. CJ Stroud is absolutely balling out.
It's not like they have a phenomenal receiving core.
No, they don't. Their team is not good, and he's balling out. This is Steamer of the Week number 2 right here.
Yeah,
it has to be. Number 2 Steamer of the Week because...
Honestly, for me, the Steelers are going to be Steamer of the season.
I think... it's tough because it's exclusively because of Matt Canada.
Yeah.
He's the worst coordinator in the entire National Football League. He's not Nathaniel Hackett was bad. That's because he was a head coach and was getting more attention. Since Matt Canada took over 2 years ago, they have not had one game between the entire offense, passing and rushing combined, of over 400 yards. Not one game in multiple seasons. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because I like Kenny Pickett. I've told you this before, Jan. I'm a big Kenny Pickett guy.
You have.
Same way that I like Baker Mayfield, even though he struggled. I like Kenny Pickett. He went down. He got an injury. It's possibly a bad injury. And the Steelers now are probably going to finish the season because not just negative, but like top few overall pick negative because Matt Canada is an absolute moron, first of all. Second of all, your star quarterback is out. And I think it's not fair that Kenny Pickett might have been his last game as a Steeler, maybe even especially as a starter, because if the Steelers end up losing the rest of the season, which is extremely likely at this point, I feel like, or more likely than not, at least losing the majority, with such a stacked quarterback class, it's almost hard to think the Steelers don't take one of those, even though Kenny Pickett isn't the problem. I really hope it's not the case. I hope they fire Matt Canada and they move on and give him...
Screw you, Matt Canada.
And give him a true chance because I really do think Kenny Pickett can be a guy in the NFL. The fact that he's done what he's done with Matt Canada there...
The offensive scheme just isn't there for him.
It's not. You're 3rd and 19 and trying to run it up the middle with Najee fucking Harris. Are you stupid? Like, I could play... We said this last week, and I was thinking, I could be a better play caller than Matt Canada. I'm not even a Steelers fan, and I would be...
3rd and 19. We better run it.
Ugh, I hate it. I like Kenny Pickett.
There's no risk. There's no gusto. There's no... I can't even say that word because it's not YouTube appropriate.
Family friendly.
We're not family friendly, but I can't say that on YouTube.
It just sucks. I just don't want Kenny Pickett to be robbed out of a chance. He's going to be, in my opinion, I know it's not going to be like NFL-wide, but he's going to be one of my personal biggest what-ifs if that's his last chance.
Yeah.
Because I really do think, like, his stats aren't the best, but if you watch him play, he makes some incredible plays, some incredible throws, some great pocket awareness. But when you have a horrible play caller, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So that's one of the more heartbreaking things to see with that injury. I really hope
I wish him the best.
Me too. I'm gonna be.
I actually did like Kenny. I mean, he should promise. I really wanted to go into the season seeing a lot of Pickett to Pickens touchdowns.
Well, we both thought the Steelers had a chance to win the division.
We did,
and then I realized that Matt Canada was still the offensive coordinator, and
no,
it's not gonna happen.
No, I think it's the Ravens at this point.
Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be the Ravens.
Unless I don't know. I don't know how long Deshaun Watson's going to be out because he's questionable week to week. But Nick Chubb being out too kind of hurts him. But their running back core is still decent. But yeah, I think it's probably the Ravens at this point just because of all the injuries. But if they get a big injury too,
Bengals are bums. We can talk about them in a second. But
yeah, it just my prayers go out to Kenny Pickett and my wishes go out to him getting another chance with a legit coordinator in Pittsburgh because I really do think he can be something special. But we'll go ahead and move on and talk about the Bengals because I'm going to give them tied with second. They were 2.5 for Steamer of the Week. It's a worse Steamer than the Falcons loss, but a not as bad Steamer as the Steelers loss.
It's their second game with just 3 points.
And also with the Steelers getting that Kenny Pickett injury, I kind of give some leeway there. But yeah, the Bengals got destroyed by the Titans. And I hate the Titans. You hate the Titans. We both think it's a trash team. I think they still are a trash team. Obviously, they're going to win some games this season, but I don't think they're going to be definitely not a Super Bowl contender, probably not even a playoff contender, might squeak into that division win if the division just keeps staying slow like it is, and the Colts and Jaguars don't pick it up a little bit more than they need to. But yeah, at this point, I think they need to just sit Joe Burrow for the next 4 games. He's playing horribly, and I don't think it's his fault. He's just constantly getting played while injured. See, he's had the calf injury all season, and they keep saying, oh, he's not going to be 100% this week, but we need a win. Well, you're going to keep losing if you say we need a win this week. Like, let him rest if they let him rest for the first 2 games, and then started playing him
all the way through here.
Yeah, and then play him, then go on a tear and win your division and go on a playoff run. I don't know what the obsession is with playing your franchise quarterback that you just paid a massive amount of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, through an injury. I don't get it. Like, I understand he gives you your best chance to win, but when he's injured, you're risking your entire franchise's future. Especially Joe Burrow, who's had bad injuries in the past. His rookie year, he got injured and was out for the whole season. So you got a guy, and especially getting beat up every year after year by the offensive line being horrible. This is a guy that you cannot throw out there in a losing situation, and they keep doing that. So the steamer of the week is the Bengals, but specifically whoever is deciding to make Joe Burrow play, whether that's him saying I want to play or the team for letting him play, you get the fat steamer of the week because that is just a stupid decision.
Yeah, no one's thinking ahead here.
No,
it's impulsive thinking. It's rash. Again, maybe if they rested him the first 3 weeks, this Titans team. Well, bam! Smack! They're not good!
The Titans would be getting the steamer of the week.
Yeah. I mean, that O-line just isn't doing well. Now, credit to the Titans' pass rush. They are one of the better pass rushes in the league. They have no secondary. Dink. Go T. Yeah, just run.
Well, T got hurt.
Yeah, T got hurt.
But Jamar Boyd.
Go,
buddy. Go. Jamar even said after the game, he was kind of a little bit of sour beans towards the team.
By the way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, injured, game to game, week to week, we'll see what happens. But Jamar said, he was like, I'm open. I'm always open. That's what he said in his post-game interview. It's just rough. It's rough for being a Bengals fan. I don't know what to say about that. That just sucks. But one of the games that I was happy with, one of the few games I was pleased with this weekend, was the Buccaneers.
Yes.
You and I, as huge Baker Mayfield fans, I think at this point, if I win the bet, I have to get a Baker Mayfield jersey.
Oh!
Baker, I'm getting
respectable. That is respectable.
Yes. I wish he played for a team I liked. Like, I would get a Browns jersey because I feel like he is one of the best players to play for the Browns in recent years because of how much he did for that team. But also the Browns did him dirty. I don't want to give the Browns money by buying a Baker Mayfield Browns jersey. I hope this offseason...
You guys should have kept him.
I hope this offseason he goes to a team that I like or at least don't hate. And then I can buy a jersey of Baker Mayfield's from there because I just want to support Baker Mayfield. I love the guy. He is proving everyone wrong. The Bucs are supposed to be full rebuild just like the Panthers, and they're winning the division right now. They have not only the best record, but the best divisional record, and they're tearing teams apart. The defense is looking incredible. Baker Mayfield is efficient.
Yeah,
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, boom, boom, boom. Got that 1-2 on the sidelines. It's amazing what Baker Mayfield is doing right now, especially with a thrown-together team like that, signed in one season, comes in. Teams oftentimes don't do that, but Baker Mayfield's getting it done, man, especially with a coach that couldn't get Tom Brady more than enough wins to get to the first round, exit of the playoffs, winning in a horrible division. Baker Mayfield might finish with a better record than Tom Brady did last year. At this point, it's looking like he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's doing pretty well. Now, my one concern, Mike Evans, he's getting old. He just got a major hamstring injury during this game.
But Mike Evans is a consistent guy. He can go in and make contested catches when you need him to. Yeah. Especially if you have Chris Godwin.
I mean, Chris Godwin, he came back this game. He looks fantastic. Looks fantastic. I love Godwin right now. Honestly, this Bucs team is looking on the up and up. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Good for the Bucs. I don't like the Bucs, but I love Baker Mayfield, so it's
I don't mind them.
I toil with myself on the inside because of Baker Mayfield being there.
Tampa's close to home, so.
Yeah. But Eagles-Commanders is also a pretty good game. Went to overtime. Commanders almost won.
Yeah, the Commanders own
the thing is the Commanders beat the Eagles last year. I think people forget that, and it's a divisional game, so I don't really think it says a lot about either team being bad or good. Like usual,
it's just divisional game.
But it was fun to watch.
And the Commanders always put up a fight against the Eagles.
But
I don't know why.
I think we are seeing that the Commanders are going to be a scrappy team this season. I've been saying for the first few weeks of the season that I don't think the Commanders are a legit team. I still don't think they're going to be contenders for a deep playoff run. But they're scrappy, man.
Give Sam Howell credit where it's due.
Like if they're a team that can find a way to flip those close games around and win, they're going to be a team that could potentially go for a wildcard spot this year, especially with the NFC being generally weak. They might be competing with guys like the Seahawks and the Rams for a wildcard spot. And, you know, I kind of like the Commanders' odds there, especially if they can go out and get the next win against the Eagles and win some of these non-divisional games. I mean, they got a real shot. Sam Howell's been balling out this season. I said before the season started, I believe in Sam Howell as a guy up there in Washington, and he's proven me right. I think Sam Howell is playing very, very well, especially for a guy that really wasn't being given a chance by most people.
He's making do with what he's got, and he's balling out.
Balling out, man. It's nice to see. Chargers-Raiders is another divisional game. It was
the Raiders had a backup.
The Chargers should have beaten him by a lot more than they did.
I think they should have.
I know it's divisional.
Herbert got hurt unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some.
Thankfully, it was his left hand.
Yeah, there was some questionable roughing, unnecessary roughness plays during that game between some of those guys, just being too brutal with tackles.
Rivalry.
Right, it happens in divisional games. But Aiden O'Connell,
don't touch him.
Keeping that game close was a shocker to me. I think that the Chargers allowing that to happen is pretty embarrassing. But they won, and a win is a win. So yeah,
hey, it's a good thing that they have the bye this week. Plenty of time for the Chargers to rest up.
Yeah,
and I know on defense they have a lot of
issues,
injuries and issues. Hopefully Joey Bosa will be back to grab Travis Kelce, suplex him, and
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
And if Asante Samuel will just come out of nowhere as he's being suplexed.
What about what Derwin James?
Derwin James comes
a suplex him.
As after the suplex, Derwin James is right into Kelce's gut, just in front of Taylor Swift.
If you keep going, we're gonna get banned. We're gonna get demonetized.
Nah, I'm sorry.
Can't be too graphic and too brutal.
I'm sorry.
You can tell me after the show.
And then a pick six.
Why not? Why not? I don't care anymore. The Patriots versus the Cowboys.
Disappointing game. You convinced me to pick the Patriots over the Cowboys. Hey, let me tell you something. He's got the same persuasive might that I do. And
that was shocking.
No, it wasn't. I had the Cowboys before.
The Cowboys winning, sure, but by that much?
Yeah.
I mean, 3?
You convinced me otherwise. I don't know why I listened to
With Trevon Diggs being out?
Yeah. They still got Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, but he's old.
Oh, it don't matter.
Oh, yeah, it does.
He got wheels.
You got Mac Attack who's willing to kick some nuts off there in the game if that's what it
Mac
takes to
Attack
win.
didn't kick anyone's nuts off.
I know, that's why they lost. Because he didn't injure anyone.
Let's look at these stats real quick. Mac Jones. Hey, 2 picks. That's not too bad.
The problem is...
They put Bailey Zappi in. That's how bad he was playing.
They did put Bailey Zappi in. The Patriots looked embarrassing. The thing is, the Patriots have looked good all season up until this game, even in losses.
They look decent. Yeah, they look decent because they held the Dolphins.
It was just a bad pick. I mean, everyone has bad picks. I had a bad pick.
Yeah, I mean, hey, any given Sunday.
Cowboys.
I think this game makes Dak look way too good.
It does. I didn't pick Patriots because I didn't put money on the Patriots winning. I picked them because I thought that if there was a game that was going to be an upset, this was one of them, and I was wrong.
Ethan, I want you to guess how many players rushed this game. How many different players rushed for the Cowboys this game?
12.
8.
Oh.
That's a lot.
Deuce Vaughn got the rocket because I saw that. I saw Deuce Vaughn getting in there. How many carries did he have?
8 carries for 9 yards.
8 carries,
very efficient.
1.1 yards a carry. Deuce Vaughn.
The player with the most receiving yards, funny enough, was the tight end, Jake Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Jake Ferguson had a game.
Yeah, he had a game. Here's the thing: New England's typically good against tight ends. Not this time. No. They're not good against anybody. This game, if anything, that's what this game showed. But anyways, that was a disappointing game.
It was.
It was boring to watch. I tuned out.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell the Cowboys are doing, blowing out every team and then getting destroyed by the Cardinals, and then going back to blowing out teams.
That's why I think Vegas is running things. Everyone had money on the Cardinals losing that game. Everybody did. Then just out of nowhere, Joshua Dobbs and the Cardinals.
I just hate it. I'm pissed. This whole weekend pissed me off. That was one of the games that pissed me off.
That game pissed me off.
49ers. Once again, this is going to be a 4-second conversation. The Niners.
All right, continue. Let's go.
The Niners won, and we expected it.
Giants
Seahawks is the last game.
We're idiots. Hey. Look, we learned. We're sorry. We're here to give you guys good advice. That was...
Okay.
I will never support the Giants ever again.
Here's what I'm going to say.
No.
Here's what I'm going to say.
We shouldn't say anything.
No, here's what I'm going to say, Gian.
Okay, fine.
Don't take my advice if you're betting game winners. Although I am positive I'm 31-17 through the season, this being my worst week.
This is my worst week, and I've learned.
Still don't bet because it's not worth the risk. But I did bet player props in this game and won those. I bet on a DJ interception and a field goal being made over 45 yards and a hit. $5 into 20. So good for me. Good for my player props. Keep taking those. Don't until I start warming up with my game winners. I'm not going to tell you to bet on them. I'll bet on them and lose my money, but I'm not going to tell you guys to bet on my game winners if I'm going to lose. So
Right.
I'm sorry.
Where are we at, by the way?
I am 31-17. You are 29-19.
We're still positive.
Yeah, you're really 2 games behind me.
Yeah, just 2 games.
Where's week 4? Plenty of game left to go.
Week 5.
But yeah, week 4 generally in the NFL was shocking.
Yeah.
Lots of blowouts, lots of steamers, lots of controversial no calls with refs. Taylor Swift getting involved.
After week 5, I guarantee I'll have a perfect week.
Week 5, though, this is where we're going to start seeing who is a pretender and who is a contender. So week 5 is going to be exciting. So thank you guys for watching.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to give some predictions for week 5.
Yeah.
We're going to just do a video on Thursday night game, and then in a couple days after that, we will have our weekend picks. We're going to come up with some disgusting player prop bets to win you guys some more money. I'm still netting positive.
We want money.
I net about 50% each week, so I'll end up like total. I'll bet. I guess it would be technically 200% because I'm doing the inverse. I'll bet $10 and win 20, but I'll scale that up. So I'll bet 20 and win 40. That's typically what happens. Because I'll lose my game winners like I usually do. I'll make like a parlay too long and lose one of those. But my player props are good. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Check out the next video for some information on that. And
Stay frosty, my friends.